Arnold Schwarzenegger is at the bottom of his heaviest bench press rep at Gold's Gym when a bolt snaps beneath the bench. The platform tilts. The bar is on his chest. The rack is no longer symmetrical. What happens in the next 12 seconds saves his life. Venice, California, August 1972. Thursday afternoon, 2:30 p.m. Gold's Gym sits on Pacific Avenue, half a block from the beach, a converted parking garage that smells like rust and salt air and decades of iron worship. The front door is propped open with a 45-pound plate because the hinges broke 2 months ago and nobody's bothered to fix them. Sunlight cuts through the doorway in a sharp diagonal, illuminating chalk dust floating in the air like snow. Outside, you can hear the ocean. Inside, you hear only iron and breath and the occasional grunt of maximum effort. This isn't the Gold's Gym that will become famous. Not yet. No cameras, no celebrities, no tour buses stopping outside. Just serious lifters who found their way here because somewhere else told them they trained too hard, made too much noise, scared the normal members. Gold's doesn't have normal members. Gold's has believers. Men who understand that building a body requires suffering, requires discipline, requires showing up day after day and doing things that hurt. The equipment reflects this philosophy. Nothing new, nothing chrome. Just iron plates from 3 different manufacturers that don't match, barbells with knurling worn smooth in the center from decades of gripping, benches with vinyl torn and repaired with duct tape, cables frayed but functional, everything used hard, everything maintained barely, everything holding together through sheer stubbornness. Arnold Schwarzenegger stands near the bench press station in the center of the gym, wearing cut-off sweatpants and a tank top with the sleeves cut so wide his entire torso is visible. 25 years old, 240 pounds, 3-time Mr. Olympia champion, the most dominant bodybuilder in the world. His arms are grotesquely large even by bodybuilding standards, his chest so developed it looks like armor plating, his shoulders capped with muscle that creates shadows in the overhead lighting. He's midway through his chest workout. Already finished incline press, already destroyed his upper pecs with dumbbell flies, already pre-exhausted the muscle tissue so that when he gets to flat bench, his main movement, his pecs are already screaming, already operating at their limit. Franco Columbu stands beside the bench, ready to spot. 5 feet 5 inches, 185 pounds, compact power, Arnold's training partner and closest friend. The only man in this gym Arnold trusts completely when the weight gets serious. Franco competed in powerlifting before bodybuilding, knows how to handle heavy weight, knows how to react when things go wrong, knows the difference between struggling through a hard rep and being in actual danger. They've trained together for 6 years, developed a rhythm, a language of small gestures and eye contact that communicates more than words ever could. The bench between them is original Gold's equipment from when the gym opened in 1965. Flat bench, 45 degrees to the floor, supported by a welded steel frame that's held together with bolts, washers, and 7 years of constant use. The vinyl padding is cracked, repaired multiple times with duct tape that's now peeling at the edges. The frame shows surface rust in places where sweat has eaten through the paint. But it's solid, or it was solid. Every piece of equipment in Gold's has been used by hundreds of lifters, thousands of workouts, tens of thousands of reps, metal fatigues. Bolts loosen, welds develop microfractures. Most of the time, equipment fails gradually. A bolt loosens over weeks. A frame develops a slight wobble. You notice, you tighten it, you keep training. But sometimes, equipment fails suddenly. Without warning, at the worst possible moment. Arnold has 405 pounds loaded on the bar, 4 plates per side plus the 45-pound Olympic bar. Heavy, but not his maximum. Not even close to his maximum. In competition powerlifting grip, he's benched 500. But this isn't powerlifting. This is bodybuilding training. The goal isn't moving maximum weight. The goal is stimulating maximum muscle growth. So he's using 405 for 6 reps, controlled reps, feeling every inch of the range of motion, feeling his pecs stretch at the bottom, feeling them contract at the top, feeling the pump build with each repetition. He's already done 2 sets. This is his 3rd and final set. The set where fatigue matters, where form breaks down if you're not disciplined, where the risk of injury increases if you're not careful. Arnold lies back on the bench, positions himself carefully, plants his feet flat on the floor, arches his lower back slightly to create the optimal pressing angle, grips the bar with hands just wider than shoulder width. The bar sits in the rack above his chest for 105 pounds of iron weighting. He takes 3 deep breaths, filling his lungs completely, oxygenating his blood, preparing his body for the effort. Franco stands at the head of the bench, hands hovering under the bar, ready to assist if needed, but not touching unless necessary. Arnold says, "Ready." Franco nods. Arnold lifts the bar out of the rack, holds it at arm's length above his chest, lets it settle, finds his balance point. The weight feels heavy but manageable. His chest is pre-exhausted from earlier exercises, already pumped full of blood, already fatigued. This is intentional. This is the strategy. Work the muscle when it's tired, force it to adapt, force it to grow. He lowers the bar, controlled descent. The weight travels down toward his chest. His elbows flare out at approximately 45 degrees. Optimal angle for pec recruitment. The bar touches his chest just below his nipple line, exactly where it should, exactly where thousands of reps have trained it to land. He presses. The bar moves upward. Smooth. Controlled. Rep 1 complete. He lowers again. Rep 2. The weight feels heavier now. The fatigue is cumulative. Each rep harder than the last. This is normal. This is expected. He presses through it. Bar goes up. Locks out. Rep 2 complete. He takes a breath. Lowers for rep 3. The bar descends. Touches his chest. He presses. Harder this time. The bar moves slower. His pecs are burning, screaming, but he pushes through. Halfway up. 3/4. Lockout. Rep 3 complete. His breathing is heavier now. Franco watches closely, reading the signs, judging whether Arnold can continue or whether this set is finished. But Arnold's not finished. He wants 6 reps. He's getting 6 reps. Rep 4. The bar descends. His elbows bend. The weight settles on his chest. Heavier than before. Significantly heavier. The accumulated fatigue making everything harder. He presses. The bar barely moves. He grinds. Pushes harder. His face reddens. The bar travels upward inch by inch. Franco's hands hover closer, ready to help. But Arnold doesn't need help yet. The bar continues rising. Slow but steady. Lockout. Rep 4 complete. He's breathing hard now, taking multiple breaths between reps, letting his heart rate settle slightly, gathering strength for the remaining reps. Rep 5. This is where it gets serious. The bar descends. Arnold's chest is completely engorged with blood now, pumped to maximum capacity, every muscle fiber recruited, every vessel dilated. The bar touches his chest. He pauses for half a second, gathering power, then presses. The bar moves 3 inches and stops. Sticks. He's at the sticking point, the weakest part of the range of motion, where leverage is worst, where the pecs have to work hardest. He grinds. Pushes. Every muscle in his upper body engaged. His legs drive into the floor. His back arches slightly more. His entire body working to move this weight. The bar creeps upward. 4 inches off his chest. 5 inches. 6. Past the sticking point. Now it moves faster. 7 inches. 8. 9. Lockout. Rep 5 complete. He's gasping now, taking deep breaths. Franco says, "1 more." "You got it." Arnold nods. Positions himself for rep 6. The final rep, the rep that matters most. The rep where growth happens. where the body is forced beyond its comfort zone, where adaptation begins. He takes 3 deep breaths, focuses, grips the bar harder, lowers the weight. The descent feels different this time. Heavier, slower. His muscles are completely exhausted. The bar touches his chest, settles there. This is the moment of maximum effort. He fills his lungs completely, holds his breath to create internal pressure, create stability, then presses with everything he has. The bar moves 1 inch off his chest. Then it happens. A sound. Sharp. Metallic. Crack. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just a single sharp crack, like someone snapping a thick piece of wood. Arnold feels it before he understands it. Feels the bench shift beneath him. Feels his right side drop 3 inches. Feels the stability disappear. The bench is collapsing. Not completely. Not catastrophically. But enough. One of the main bolts holding the frame together, the bolt that secures the right support leg to the main frame, has sheared clean through. 7 years of stress, 7 years of weight cycles, 7 years of expansion and contraction, and the metal finally gave up. The bolt snapped. The right side of the bench drops. Not to the floor. The frame is still partially supported by secondary connections. But it drops enough. Enough to destroy the symmetry. Enough to turn a controlled press into a crisis. Arnold is lying on a tilted platform now. His right shoulder 3 inches lower than his left. The bar is on his chest. For 105 pounds pressing down. But the bar isn't level anymore. The right side is lower. Gravity wants to roll the bar toward his right side. Wants to pull the weight down and away from the center line. The rack, where he needs to return the bar to end the set safely, is no longer symmetrically above him. The left upright is where it should be. The right upright is 3 inches higher than it was. The bar in his hands needs to travel up and to the left to reach both uprights simultaneously. But he can't press up and to the left while lying on a tilted bench with 405 pounds compressing his chest. The geometry doesn't work. The leverage doesn't work. He's trapped. Franco sees it immediately. Sees the bench tilt. Sees Arnold's position shift. Sees the danger. He moves his hands to the bar, ready to lift, ready to help Arnold rack the weight. But he can't lift 405 pounds by himself. Not from this angle. Not with Arnold beneath it. If he tries to lift and fails, the bar comes down harder. If he tries to pull the bar toward himself, he might pull it off Arnold's chest entirely, which sounds good until you realize 405 pounds falling 3 feet onto a concrete floor could bounce, could hit Arnold, could hit Franco, could kill someone. There's no good option, no safe option, just bad options and worse options. Arnold's mind is moving fast, faster than the situation, analyzing, calculating. He has maybe 5 seconds before his strength fails completely, before the accumulated fatigue and the awkward position and the panic combine to make his muscles give out entirely. 5 seconds to solve a problem that could end his career or his life. The bar is on his chest. He can't press it straight up because the rack isn't symmetrical anymore. He can't roll it down to his waist because 405 pounds rolling across his ribcage and stomach could break ribs, could rupture organs. He can't drop it because there's no safe place for it to land. Franco can't lift it alone. There are other people in the gym, but they're seconds away, and seconds matter when you have 405 pounds on your chest and a failing bench beneath you. One option exists. Dangerous. Absurd. But possible. Arnold can press the bar up asymmetrically. Press harder with his left arm than his right arm. Drive the bar up and to the left. Compensate for the tilt with uneven force distribution. Guide the bar toward the left upright first. Get it secured there. Then adjust to catch the right upright. It requires pressing 405 pounds with compromised leverage while lying on an unstable surface while exhausted from 5 previous reps. It requires doing something every training principle says never to do. Press unevenly. Press asymmetrically. Press with your body in a position that creates maximum injury risk. But it's the only option, the only way out. Arnold doesn't announce his plan, doesn't ask Franco for permission, doesn't waste time explaining. He just executes. He presses, but not straight up and to the left. His left arm drives harder than his right. His entire left side engages. His left pec, left shoulder, left tricep, all firing at maximum capacity. His right side pushes too, but less, just enough to keep the bar controlled, to prevent it from rotating, from spinning, from becoming completely unstable. The bar starts moving, not straight, diagonally, rising and drifting left. His left arm is fully extended while his right arm is still bent. The bar is at a 15-degree angle. Every instinct says this is wrong. Every training principle says stop. But stopping means the bar comes down, means he's back where he started, means the problem isn't solved. So he keeps pressing, keeps driving, his left arm shaking from the effort, his right arm fighting to maintain control. The bar rises, 6 inches off his chest, 8 inches, 10. His left arm is almost locked out. His right arm is 3/4 extended. The angle is severe now, 20 degrees. The weight wants to roll right, wants to follow gravity, but Arnold won't let it. His right hand grips tighter. His right side engages more, holds the bar steady while his left arm finishes the press. 12 inches off his chest, 14. The left upright is close now, close enough to catch. Franco sees what Arnold is doing, moves his right hand to guide the bar toward the left upright. Doesn't lift, just guides. Small correction. The bar travels into position. The left side makes contact with the left upright. Sets down. Secure. But the right side is still extended. Still unsupported. The bar is resting on the left upright, but not the right. If Arnold lets go now, the bar rotates, falls, crashes down onto the bench or the floor or him. He has to complete the movement. Has to bring the right side up and back to meet the right upright. His right arm is still partially bent. He extends it fully. The bar rises on the right side. The angle decreases. 15 degrees. 10 degrees. 5. Franco guides the right side toward the right upright. The bar makes contact. Settles. Both sides secured. The bar is racked. Arnold lets go. His arms drop to his sides. He's shaking. Not from fear. From effort. From 12 seconds of the most awkward, dangerous, technically wrong pressing he's ever done in his life. But he's alive. The bar is racked. The crisis is over. Franco steps back, looks at the bench, looks at Arnold, says in Italian, "What the fuck just happened?" Arnold sits up slowly, carefully, aware that the bench is still tilted, still unstable. He stands, moves away from the bench, examines it. The right support leg is still attached, but loose. The main bolt has sheared completely. Only secondary connections are holding the frame together. If he'd tried one more rep, if the bench had collapsed completely instead of partially, the outcome could have been catastrophic. 405 pounds falling 3 feet with Arnold beneath it. Not survivable. Or if survivable, career-ending. Crushed chest. Broken ribs. Punctured lung. The kind of injury you don't come back from. Other lifters have noticed now. The sound of the bolt snapping, the sound of Arnold's breathing, the sight of Franco's expression, all of it drew attention. 5 guys stand nearby, watching, waiting to see if help is needed, if something worse is about to happen. One of them asks, "You okay?" Arnold nods. Doesn't speak yet. Just nods. Catches his breath. Lets his heart rate come down. Lets the adrenaline clear. His chest is still pumped, still engorged with blood from the effort, but the rest of his body is flooded with stress hormones, with the chemical aftereffect of crisis. Franco kneels down, examines the broken bolt. The metal sheared clean through. No warning. No gradual loosening. Just catastrophic failure. He stands, looks at Arnold, says, "You just pressed 405 pounds on a tilted bench. Asymmetrical. That's impossible." Arnold looks at the bar, still loaded with 4 plates per side, sitting in the rack above the broken bench. Says quietly, "Wasn't a choice." Franco nods. Understands. When the options are do the impossible or get crushed, you do the impossible. You find strength you didn't know existed. You violate every principle of safe lifting because safe lifting isn't an option anymore. You survive. That's the only goal. Survive and figure out the rest later. The gym owner, Joe Gold himself, walks over. Sees the broken bench. Sees the bolt on the floor. Says, "Jesus Christ." Looks at Arnold. "You were under that when it broke?" Arnold nods. Joe examines the frame, shakes his head. "This bolt should have been replaced 2 years ago. My fault. I've been meaning to rebuild this bench. Kept putting it off." He looks at Arnold directly. "You could have been killed." Arnold says simply, "But I wasn't." Joe says, "You pressed out of that?" On a tilted bench. Arnold doesn't answer. The bar in the rack is answer enough. Joe looks at Franco. "You saw it." Franco nods. Impossible lift. Completely asymmetrical. Left arm full extension, right arm bent. Bar at 20-degree angle. He made it look controlled. Joe says quietly, "That's not strength. That's something else." Arnold walks to the water fountain, drinks, lets the cold water settle his system. His chest is still pumped despite everything. His muscles don't know the difference between a normal set and a survival set. They just know they worked. They'll grow from this. Probably more than they would have from a normal set. Stress creates adaptation. Fear creates focus. The body responds to crisis by becoming stronger. That's the fundamental principle of training. Apply stress. Survive stress. Adapt. Become capable of handling more stress next time. But this was more stress than any training protocol would ever recommend. This was accidental, unplanned, dangerous. The kind of moment that ends careers or creates legends depending on the outcome. Franco starts unloading the bar. Takes the plates off one by one. Stacks them against the wall. The bar goes back on the rack, empty now, harmless. Joe drags the broken bench away from the training area, leans it against the back wall. Says he'll weld a new frame this weekend. Build it stronger. Double bolt everything. Make sure this never happens again. But everyone in the gym knows equipment fails. Always has. Always will. You can maintain it. You can replace parts. You can be careful. But metal fatigues. Bolts shear. Cables snap. Weights fall. Training with heavy weight means accepting risk. The goal is managing risk, not eliminating it. Because you can't eliminate it. Not completely. Not if you're training hard enough to actually improve. Arnold returns to the training area. Franco asks, "You done with chest?" Arnold looks at the empty bar, looks at his chest in the mirror, sees the pump, sees the vascularity, sees the muscle tissue engorged with blood. Says, "Yes, that's enough." They move to the next exercise. Back training. Pull-ups. Barbell rows. Lat pull-downs. Normal training. Safe training. No broken equipment. No tilted benches. No asymmetrical pressing. Just controlled reps and focused effort and the familiar rhythm of bodybuilding work. But for the rest of that workout, every lifter in Gold's Gym is thinking about what they just witnessed. Arnold Schwarzenegger lying on a collapsing bench with 405 pounds on his chest. No panic. No screaming for help. Just problem solving. Just execution. Just doing what needed to be done to survive. They're thinking about the 12 seconds between the bolt snapping and the bar being racked. 12 seconds that separated career-ending injury from just another training story. 12 seconds where Arnold's mind moved faster than the crisis. Where his body did something technically impossible because the alternative was unacceptable. Years later, when people ask Arnold about close calls in the gym, about moments where training almost went catastrophically wrong, he tells them about the bench bolt, about the sound it made when it snapped, about the feeling of the bench tilting beneath him, about the impossible decision to press asymmetrically because all the safe options were worse. He tells them that moment taught him something critical about strength. Real strength isn't just moving heavy weight. Real strength is staying calm when everything goes wrong. Real strength is solving problems under pressure. Real strength is doing the impossible when the impossible is the only option left. The bench got rebuilt that weekend. Double-bolted, reinforced frame, stronger than before. Joe Gold made sure every piece of equipment in the gym was inspected, every bolt checked, every weld examined. But equipment still fails. Always has. Always will. The difference is now everyone knows what to do when it fails. Stay calm. Assess options. Execute the best available choice. Survive. Because champions aren't defined by perfect conditions. Champions are defined by how they respond when conditions fall apart. When the bench tilts. When the bolt snaps. When the only option is the impossible option. That's when you find out who you really are. That's when you discover strength you didn't know existed. 12 seconds. One impossible press. One decision to survive rather than surrender. That's the difference between a lifter and a champion.